The NXL-ME80 Media Edge Processor is a compact and flexible encoder-decoder that can be easily configured. Its main features include high image quality, ultra-low latency, and low bit rates, making it ideal for real-time live remote production. It supports bidirectional transmission of up to 8 HD or 2 UHD in a single unit, and the network ports for LAN, WAN, and control can each be made redundant. It is compatible not only with SDI, but also ST2110. The ME80 can be easily set up using the web UI. It can also be controlled via video iPath or through an external control API. Now, let's start the setup. This time, we will connect using SDI. Today, we will set it up in HD. But you can also use UHD according to your environment. The ME80 can switch between encoder, decoder, or both as bidirectional, so for I/O settings, if you are using HD, you can configure it as is shown. The same applies for UHD, where you can set it like this. Let's connect SDI, power, and network cables. Now, let's access the web UI and begin the setup. By default, the IP address of the ME80 is set like this. For the computer's IP address settings, set it like this. Open a browser and enter the URL as is shown. First, I will create an admin user who can configure all settings, so I will log in as using initial user NXL-ME80. Please set up initial user account, that will be immediately shown. To create a new user, go to Maintenance, then Certificates, and select Users. Choose the row at the bottom of the screen, and click the Create button. Here, let's select Administrator. Set any password you like. Once you're done, click OK. Then log out, and log back in as administrator. In your browser, enter the URL address, and use the password you just set. From here, we will proceed with the settings in the web UI. On the left side of the screen, there is a menu. In the control section, you can start and stop the transmission of the stream. The monitoring menu allows you to monitor thumbnails of the transmitted video and audio meters. The statistics section provides a statistical overview of the transmission status, such as packet loss. The streaming menu is where you configure the transmission settings, including details like format and bit rate. The maintenance menu allows you to manage control and WAN port IP addresses, time settings, software updates, and license management. I will mainly focus on explaining the streaming and control menus. At first, we will configure the control port. In the maintenance menu under the network section, open the control tab. We will use the default setting of the address for this time. It is also possible to perform a ping test, to see the connection is okay. Next, we will configure the address for the WAN port. Just like before, navigate to the WAN tab under the network section in the maintenance menu. Please set this address according to your environment. Let's start the configuration. Select the streaming menu, and create a configuration. By default, the encoder settings are selected. Select that, and click the Edit button. First, let's set the system frequency that will be used. For WAN direction, if it's an encoder, select TX. If it's a decoder, select RX, and if it's mixed, select TX plus RX. For SDI or LAN I/O type, choose either SDI or ST2110. This time, we will select SDI. Latency mode 1 to 4, allows you to select the latency mode for streams 1 to 4, whereas 5 to 8 allows you to select the latency mode for streams 5 to 8. It is necessary to match the latency mode for the encoder and decoder for each stream. Once you have completed the settings, click Apply. Activate the setting. The system will be automatically restarted. Log in again when the system comes up. Next, let's scroll down and configure the WAN list. The WAN list is used to create a destination list for the opposing ME80. For example, for the encoder, you will create a list of the corresponding decoders, and for the decoder, you will create a list of the corresponding encoders. First, let's create the decoder list for the encoder. Select Destination. Choose an empty row, and click the Edit button. In the name field, enter a name to identify the decoder. In IP address 1, input the IP address of the decoder. Set redundancy to on, if the WAN is redundant. The same setting needs to be applied to the decoder as well. Network buffer is set in milliseconds to ensure stable transmission. The output delay will increase according to the set time, so it is recommended to adjust it to the optimal value based on the line quality. Also, set the network buffer of the corresponding decoder to the same value. For stream, specify which stream number the decoder will receive. The number specified here will be selectable as a destination. In port 1, enter the port number to be used for stream number 1 in the start number field. Based on the value set here, the port numbers of the decoder will be automatically assigned and displayed for each stream. Port 2 should be set up when redundant WAN is used. Now, let's go back up a little in the menu and select Settings. Here, we will configure the detailed settings for the stream, such as resolution and bitrate. In Destination, select the corresponding decoder from the WAN list that was set earlier. The latency mode will display the ultra-low latency or low latency settings that were configured in the configuration menu. For video input, select this only if you are using the ultra-low latency setting. Choose the appropriate option based on the number of transmission paths. Additionally, select here if you are performing HFR, which is high frame rate. Resolution is for setting the video resolution. Set the transmission rate in bitrate. The recommended setting is middle, but manual configuration is also possible. In scene change detection, choose whether to detect scene changes in the input signal to optimize encoding processing. It is suitable to set to off for camera output transmission, and on for program out transmission. Select OETF or colorimetry according to your environment. If you choose auto, it will automatically detect and operate with the optimal settings. For audio channel, select the number of audio channels to be transmitted. It is important to ensure that this matches the settings for RX. For SDI input, choose between 12G SDI or 3G quad when transmitting UHD. Finally, for test signal, set this to on when conducting a transmission test using a test signal, if you do not have a camera or recorded video material on hand. Click Apply when everything is set up. Now, let's configure the decoder. Many of the settings are similar to those of the encoder, so I will omit the overlapping parts. Select the streaming menu, and create a configuration. The process is the same as for the encoder. Next, we will create the WAN list for the decoder. This is slightly different from the settings for the encoder, so I will explain the differences. In the name field, enter a name to identify the encoder. For transaction ID, please refer to the web UI for the encoder. Input the transaction ID by checking the upper right of the Streaming and Configuration tab in the web UI for the encoder. The source unit type will display the encoder model identified by the transaction ID. Set the network buffer to the same value as the settings for the encoder. In Stream, select which stream number from the encoder you will receive. In Enable, choose On or Off to enable or disable each stream. Click OK when finished. Now, let's move on to the settings for the decoder. The difference with the settings for the encoder is that there are fewer configuration items, and this time you will select the corresponding encoder list. Click the Source button and select the corresponding encoder from the WAN list that you created earlier. The following settings are the same as those for the encoder. Click Apply when finished. Now, we are finally ready to transmit video. The order does not matter, but since we have been configuring the decoder, let's go ahead and turn on the reception settings on the decoder. Select Control from the menu. Turn it on, as if you are flipping a switch. The status turns red as signals on TX side, is not started yet. Now, let's move to the web UI for the encoder. Select the control menu, and turn the switch on. Make sure the status turns green. The transmission should start immediately, and you should see the video on the monitor. With anything new, troubles are common. In such cases, look at the monitor page. You will see a thumbnail of the transmitted video and the audio meter. If the transmission is not working, it should display no signal. If there are still problems, check other things. Freeze detection will detect if the video freezes and will generate an error. The alarm will trigger if any abnormalities are detected, so check to see if there are any issues with the equipment or network. By opening statistics, you can get a more detailed understanding of network anomalies, such as packet loss and RTT. To restore factory settings, click the Reset to Factory Settings button from Maintenance/Service, or press and hold the Reset button for the entire capacity. This concludes the basic setup of the NXL-ME80. There are other variations, such as when utilizing ST2110, or in combination with the 5G solution, CBK RPU7, but the basic configuration method remains the same.